Roll it, Steve. Roll it.
And the LexisNexis track system, if you could explain just a bit to the jury as far as what that is and how it's used to create these documents before you.
It's similar to that Startopo program I used. It's a desktop-based GPS program. You put the points in, and then it will map them out.
All right, let's.
Hey, B.
What's up?
Did you get a taste?
I did.
Trooper Guarino.
Guarino.
It's a pizza.
Trooper Guarino.
So anyway, this is a guy who was in charge of getting all the intel off the phones, tracking, motion.
All that technical
all
stuff
that
I'm
technical
not good
stuff.
at.
You're going to learn, son.
I'm going to learn today.
You're going to learn today.
All right. I'm ready to learn.
So, I watched this video multiple times, and I get lost sometimes. Honestly, I do. Like, what the hell is he talking about?
No help for me then.
So
no hope for me.
So we're going to watch this and see what happens. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's an hour long. But I think, Steve, are you going to play it fast or no?
We'll see.
Okay. We'll get to a guessing game.
Well, yeah, we might not.
If it's a squirrel, then we know.
Yeah. If it sounds like a chipmunks, Steve, sped it up.
Yeah.
If we sound like chipmunks, we're not going to speed us up. Can you speed? You can't speed us up. Can you do that? Only on replay. Oh.
Baritone. Roll it, Steve. Roll out.
Please.
Trooper, you've testified that you disagree in many respects with the findings of the defense expert, Rick Green, which he outlined in his affidavit submitted in connection with this case, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I'd like to ask you some questions about your training and education and your qualifications in the area of computer forensics. You graduated from Westfield State University in 2003.
Yes, that's correct.
You majored in criminal justice and mass communications, correct?
Yes, I double majored.
Right. You chose not to major in computer science, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
2 years after graduating, you became a patrolman in Norwood, correct?
Yes, that's right.
The town of Norwood is right next to Canton, is it not?
Yes, it is.
You stayed as a patrolman in Norwood for 10 years with the Norwood Police Department, correct?
Well, minus a stint in the National Guard, but yes.
You then became a Massachusetts State Trooper in 2015,
Yes, I did.
and you spent 4 years in the patrol division of the Mass State Police, correct?
The same boat, fellas.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Yes, I did.
And that was until 2019.
Correct.
And 2019 was the first
So did you have to
time
do
that you took
2
a
academies
forensic
then?
computer course.
Right.
Would you agree with
Assuming, yeah.
No, that's not true.
that? Would you agree with me that since then, your training has mainly consisted of online courses and webinars?
That is also not true.
Okay, well, you list, with regard to your training, some in-person trainings, sir, but you list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, actually, over 20 online courses, do you not?
Yes, that was during COVID.
Yeah. Well, 2019 was not during COVID, was it?
2020 was
All right.
when I took most of them.
I got you, but you say 2019 to 2020 in terms of your online courses and webinars, correct?
There's quite a few, yes.
All right. And with regard to some
Which is normal because we
during that time period,
take classes
do you agree with me that one of the
year round.
introduction to computer networks?
Sucks.
Recertifications and shit.
How was that shit called?
Through the NW3C.
MLV.
I
UMLV.
asked you
UMLV.
whether one of the courses that you took
Hated it.
was called Introduction to Computer Networks.
That's correct.
And another course that you took was Introduction to Cell Phone Investigations, correct?
Yes.
Introduction to Previewing, correct?
Yes.
You hold no degrees in the field of computer forensics, do you?
I hold certifications.
You hold no degrees in the field of computer forensics or computer science, correct?
Like college degree?
Correct.
That ain't no
correct.
degree.
You have no
a cert.
publications in the field of computer forensics, do you?
No, not yet.
And you've never taught a course in computer forensics, have you?
No.
All right. Well, as a Norwood police officer for 10 years and a Massachusetts state trooper for 9 years, you would agree that you've written a lot of police reports over the years, have you not?
Yeah, you can say that.
Prior to becoming a Norwood police officer
say
back
that.
in 2005,
Would you say
you
that?
attended a police academy, right?
Yes, I did.
And at the academy, one area of focus was the proper way to write a police report, was it not?
Amongst others.
You were taught that it's important to write police reports close in time to the events in question while they're still freshest in your memory, correct?
That's not necessarily the case.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about professional note-taking for busy people.
Okay, so it's your testimony before this jury that it's preferable to wait months
I thought I missed the commercial.
on something that happened months ago?
Hey, can you hit skip on these commercials, please?
I'm using. If I can't get into a phone, then yeah, I have to wait months.
But once the information is received
Just use your degree.
that you need to write a
Hack into
police
it.
report, would you agree with me that it's important to record it in a report as soon as you can?
No, I stand by my previous statement that as soon as the data is available that I can do it, I will. And if things come up, then
Pause it, Steve, 1 second. Let's clarify a little bit.
Okay. Clarify it for me.
When you are in an active scene, dynamic scene, murder scene, or whatever the case may be, you do have to take notes right then and there.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Because,
I agree. Yeah.
right, you have
Yeah.
to.
No, I agree. 100%.
But when you're doing a report on data, information, you have to wait for a search warrant to get access to that phone, and then you can continue your report as needed, right?
Correct. Yes.
So you report up until the search warrant, and then after the report.
and it will
So
be
that's
paused.
why he's saying I can't do it right then and there because I don't have access to the phone or the evidence.
And that's not his fault.
Right.
Nor is it his problem.
Right.
He's got, like he said, he's got to wait for the evidence to become available on the phone. Then he can go and collect it, which could take weeks, could take months.
Right. But he could say, hey, this phone was given to me by Trooper Proctor on this date and time at this location.
Yes.
He could write that stuff down. Chain of custody.
As he should have.
Right?
He should have wrote that stuff down.
Yeah.
Correct.
Roll it.
So I think you just answered my question. You said as soon as the data is available and you've completed your investigation.
I never said I completed. I said if the data is available.
Well,
then
let's say you've completed your investigation, sir. Are you going to argue with me that it's preferable not to wait to record that data in a report?
Objection.
Ask it differently, Mr. Yannetti.
Ask it
You
nicer.
were also taught that it's important to include all the important details in your police report, correct?
Again, it depends on the report I'm writing.
Okay, so in other words, there are times when you're writing a police report when you intentionally leave out important details. Trooper, is that your testimony before this jury?
Objection.
I'll allow that question. Is that what you do, Trooper?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor.
So you would agree with me,
course
going
not.
back to my question, that
So-
it is important to include all the important details in your report, is it not?
Again,
Yes.
it depends on the report that I'm writing.
He's.
Some data that goes in, there's some that doesn't. I can't have everything in. Again, for phone, I'm speaking to technically phone reports.
Dude, do you put the important stuff in, yes or no? Yes.
Computers.
Yes.
I can't include
Yes.
everything. That's why we have the program that if I need to add something via cell.
That just makes it more
I can create a
deceptive.
report
Yeah.
through that.
Right?
If I
Makes
did,
it look more
I can
deceptive.
report
Yeah.
everything, maybe thousands of pages for the amount of data in these devices.
One purpose of writing a police report is to
not what he
share
asked, though.
information with your fellow investigators, is it not?
No news so far.
No news so far, correct?
Correct.
I suppose so.
Another purpose of writing a police report is to be fair to the people that you're investigating by explaining as best you can what happened, correct?
I don't understand that question.
Okay. The fact is you did write some early
Ask it
police
differently.
reports in this case dated February 4th, 2022, just 6 days after John O'Keefe was found mortally wounded on Bryan Albert's front lawn, correct?
That is correct.
When you wrote those police reports, you knew this was a homicide investigation, correct?
I was told that it was believed to be yes.
So that underscored the importance of being accurate and truthful, correct? Especially in a homicide investigation?
Yes.
I write my reports, no matter what the investigation is, the same exact way.
And the purpose of one of your February 4th, 2022 reports was to explain how you came into possession of John O'Keefe's cell phone and to note the extraction that you did on the phone. Do you recall that report?
Yes, I do.
And before writing that particular report, you spoke with Trooper Michael Proctor, did you not?
I received the phone from him, but
I'm sorry?
I received the phone from him originally, yes.
And when you received the phone, the two of you did not remain mute, right? The two of you chatted,
I don't remember the exact conversation.
but there was a conversation, correct?
I'm sure there was.
And you recorded what Michael Proctor told you about that cell phone in your February 4th, 2022 report, did you not?
No, I didn't.
Michael Proctor told you that on Saturday, January 29th of 2022, he and Sergeant Buchanan had
Oopsie.
responded to 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Did he not?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
No, he didn't.
Well, you wrote in your very first sentence in that report the following, quote, on Saturday, January 29th,
Objection.
2022, Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office responded to the unattended death of John O'Keefe at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Those were your words, were they not?
All right, so the objection sustained. You can ask it differently.
He said, fuck your objection. I'm reading this shit anyway.
John O'Keefe's cell phone from 34 Fairview Road.
I
in
like
Canton?
that.
Objection.
I'm going to allow that.
No, I didn't know where it was retrieved from.
You didn't know where it was retrieved from?
Correct.
All right.
Okay. Pause for a second. Wouldn't you want to know?
Nah.
That's not important.
Nah.
Right?
What's the problem?
Because the phone was recovered under him, right?
Well, was it?
Well, that's where it was placed. Right?
Yeah.
Because, listen, you'd want to know, was it saturated in water or anything like that as a technical guy, right?
Yeah.
The condition of the phone. Where was
Yeah.
his phone at? Oh, in his pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so more likely it was dry. Underneath him, okay, it could have some wetness. I have to take a different precaution to dry the phone
Yeah.
out before I...
It could be blood.
Right, it could be anything,
could
right?
Be blood. Could be anything, yeah.
So you would want to know where the phone came from, not just from his hand, right?
Of course. Of course.
I just want to clarify that.
Of course.
Right, Steve?
It doesn't matter to this guy,
It
Guarino,
was
but
a report that while Proctor and Buchanan were on scene, they retrieved the cell phone of John O'Keefe, correct?
At some point during the day, they did. I don't know where from. So there's multiple.
Yeah, I'm asking about your report, Trooper. You know I'm questioning you about your report.
No, I understand, and I'm explaining. I don't know what
You
scene
don't get
it's
to explain, sir,
Oh.
most respectfully, until Mr. Lally questions you.
Okay, so no comments. I think to speed things along, do you have your report with you?
I do, Your Honor.
I think it'll make it easier,
Oh,
Mr.
can you read
Yannetti.
the first two lines? of that report?
Let him grab it.
yeah, answer the questions, man. Very simple.
Go.
Can you read the first two lines to the jury, please?
Yep. On Saturday,
Let's
January
hear this.
29th, 2022, Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan of the Norfolk District Attorney's Office responded to the unattended death of John O'Keefe at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Through his investigation, was found O'Keefe was a victim of a motor vehicle homicide. While on scene, Trooper Proctor secured O'Keefe's phone and brought it to the Norfolk DA's office for forensic analysis.
Okay. So you'd agree with me that you included that clause. While on scene, they secured his phone. Did you?
Vehicular homicide. Did you hear that?
And
First
that was
day.
back on February 4th of 2022, correct?
Yes, it was.
Within 6 days of John O'Keefe being found mortally wounded on Albert
Vehicular
Swan, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And at that time, you knew that the crime scene was 34 Fairview Road, correct?
No.
Yet you put in your report while on scene, did you not?
Yes, I don't know what scene they recovered from. I know they went multiple places on the 29th. They didn't get back to me till 7:30 that night almost, when I first got the phone.
Well, you
See, that's why it's important to ask him, where'd you get this phone from?
Wasn't the crime scene, correct?
I never said crime scene in my report. I wrote scene.
Okay. Well, Canton Police
What other kind of
Department
scene
was
is
not
there?
a scene of any crime, was it?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Oh, my
Don't
God.
know if the Canton Police Department was the scene of a crime.
I don't think it was.
You don't think it is? Okay. Now,
Wise guy, huh?
in that report,
Wise
you were
guy,
trying to establish the chain of custody of that phone, right? Because you described where it was found, where it was taken, and who had possession of it, correct?
I said it never said where it was taken. I said the phone was recovered on scene by Trooper Proctor. Again, I don't know where it was recovered from. I did find out later it was at Canton PD.
Well, hold on a second.
There's your first mistake.
I know, I'm reading it.
As opposed to details.
Pause that. Actually, rewind it just a little bit. Oh, shit. Just 5 seconds.
I did find out later it was at Canton PD.
Well, hold on a second.
That's where he said he recovered the phone from, Canton PD. But that's not where the
That's
phone
not
was
the
recovered.
scene.
Right, exactly.
The scene is 34 Fairview.
Right.
We all know that. That's the scene. Again, yeah, he's being a wise ass because, well, I'm not saying it's a crime scene.
I don't know where the crime
Bro,
scene was.
we all say scene. When I say scene to you,
I
it's
know.
a scene,
Yeah.
crime scene.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not always going to say crime scene.
Yeah.
He's over at the scene.
Yeah. Well, what?
Yeah. Or they'll say he's over at the command post.
Yep.
Right?
That's
'Cause we
different.
go-
That's different.
when
That's
you have
not
a
the
big
scene.
That's correct. When you have everybody knows what this big call is, so there's only one scene.
I know, I'm reading it.
As opposed to details you want to fill in now, okay?
Okay.
With regard to, you just testified that you never said where it was taken, yet previously you said it was taken to you, was it not?
No, I said recovered from. What the scene location?
Did Trooper Proctor take the phone to you and
Yes.
hand it to you?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
So he's somebody that you look and you look away because he's not doing nothing but the average stuff. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing exciting about him. Well, until the day.
That is true.
You described in your report where it was found because you said while on scene, correct?
Correct.
And where it was taken to you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And who had possession of it, which was initially Trooper Proctor in terms of your observations, and then you, correct?
That is who brought me the phone to the DA's office, yes.
And you would agree with me that chain of custody of a piece of evidence is an important detail in any criminal investigation, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Would you agree
Thank you.
with me that someone reading your report or listening to it as the jury listened today would understand you to be saying that Michael Proctor seized John O'Keefe's cell phone at 34 Road in Canton?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right. I'd like to ask you some questions about
What was
the
wrong with that one?
extraction that you discussed.
Did he get
in
it
that
from the
February
scene?
4th, 2020
Where was his phone found? That's an important thing.
In that report, after you named
That's
the
very
tools
important.
that you used to extract data from the phone, you indicated that a copy of that cell phone extraction was placed on a state police server, or was it a DA's office server?
DA's office server.
Okay, on a server so that it could be accessed there, correct?
That is correct.
But that extraction you placed on the server did not include all the potential data on John O'Keefe's phone, did it?
How do you mean?
Well, didn't you indicate in your report that the extraction was not inclusive of all potential data contained within the device?
No, that's not true.
Well, the extraction that you did contained communications, iOS messages, phone calls, social media communications between John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And it contained communications between John O'Keefe and Jennifer McCabe?
Yes, that's true.
It contained communications between John O'Keefe and Kerry Roberts?
I can't recall.
All right. But it did not include any communications between John O'Keefe and Julie Albert, did it?
Again, I can't recall.
And again, I'm talking about that initial extraction. That initial one didn't include any communications between John O'Keefe and Chris Albert, did it?
I only created one extraction of John O'Keefe's phone.
All right. That extraction report also did not include any location data, did it?
No, it did.
What you got to say?
You didn't note any location data
you got to
in
say?
that initial report.
Dude.
February 4th?
Anything that has to do with communications with John O'Keefe's phone going out 2 days prior, 2 day or 1 day after, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should all have been pulled out.
Yep, I agree.
Every phone should have said, I want your phone, I want your phone, I want your phone right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to eliminate, but they weren't looking at that. They vehicular manslaughter is what they noted it, right? When that went through,
homicide. Yep.
yeah, when that went out, pretty much all common sense. Well, we know what it is.
Yeah.
We don't need to look at that stuff.
Correct. Yeah, it was. I won't say well planned. It could have been a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
But
they had to scramble.
Yeah. Once Proctor had the diagnosis, and he basically, remember what he said in his video, he had within 30 minutes he knew that Karen Reed hit him with the car.
Yep.
And that's what killed him.
Despite his initial thought was a fight.
Correct.
So
he's just following the narrative.
I didn't go through the data at that point.
All right.
This is just my extraction report saying that I got the phone, it was extracted and placed onto the server. And then I wrote, this report is not inclusive of all potential evidence, potential data contained within this evidence.
When was the first time that you reported on location data in this case?
I don't remember.
It wasn't until April of 2023, correct?
There was a reason for that.
Well, I didn't ask you if there was a reason for it, sir. You understood my
Yeah, no doubt.
question, didn't you?
That's correct. My first report regarding it was in January.
We're talking about John O'Keefe's phone now here.
Yeah.
You did not report on the location data on John O'Keefe's phone until April of 2023, correct?
I didn't look at the extraction initially.
And you also did not report on any Apple Health data until the spring of 2023, correct?
Again, I didn't look at the phone extraction. Trooper Proctor would have looked at it. I would have loaded it and given it to him.
Okay, so Trooper Proctor had access to the phone first, and then you took care of it, correct?
He had access to the extraction that I would load onto Cellbrite for him to look at, where you can't change the data. That is correct.
Okay. And you would agree
Where
with
you
me
can't
that
change the
didn't
data.
address
Remember that,
John
where you
O'Keefe's
can't
health
change the data.
in any formal report until that April 23 report, correct?
That is correct. I never went through it.
Right, and you submitted your report in April of 2023 after you became aware of an affidavit filed by the defense expert, Rick Green, in which Mr. Green extracted and analyzed John O'Keefe's location data and his movements according to Apple Health data. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Before Rick Green submitted that affidavit, no member of the state police homicide investigation team, including you, had ever looked at or at least reported on the location data for anyone present at 34 Fairview, correct?
For the devices that we had, sir?
For John O'Keefe's device, for Jennifer McCabe's device, etc.
I can't speak to that. I don't know.
All right, but you didn't, correct?
Again, I didn't look at the extractions until later.
Right. So you hadn't looked at John O'Keefe's location data in particular prior to Richard Green pointing out the location data in his affidavit, correct?
Again, I don't know. I wasn't asked to look for that data when I did look at it.
On it, correct?
Yes, there's no report until then.
Right. Same with Jennifer McCabe's location data. You didn't report on that either, correct?
I didn't look at Jen McCabe's phone.
You didn't report on Brian Alberts or Colin Alberts or Brian Higgins' location data. Would you agree with that?
I didn't have any of their phone extractions to get that data, so I wouldn't be able to anyways.
But when
So he just handled.
you did check the location data.
John O'Keefe's and probably
Ask you
Karen.
about your testimony on direct examination that you believe that at a certain point, with regard to John O'Keefe's phone, the accuracy of the GPS points was within 3 feet. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you show me where in any of your reports you specify that the
It is. And you know,
are accurate within 3 feet?
hey, Steve, pause for a second.
I don't know.
I think GPS is getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Right. Because I remember when we first got the iPhones and first got the Find Me app, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would hit Find My Phone and it'd give you a big blue dot.
Yeah.
The radius was, 50, 70 feet, right?
Yeah.
But now it's getting more pinpointed. Now, that dot doesn't get smaller if you have bad service. Right? If you have bad service, it's going to give you a general area.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you remember that they were talking about service being weak
Yep.
in that area, right? So if they look at that Celebrite data and it shows a gray dot, but the dot is right here, it doesn't specifically say that your phone's going to be here. It gives you a radius.
Okay.
So the radius could encompass the house, right?
Yep.
So is it accurate per se? They're saying 3 feet. I've seen it where it's the whole goddamn block almost, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So there's still the possibility of it could be.
Have you seen it to where it pinpointed though too?
I have.
Okay.
I
So
have.
it goes both ways.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It could be a variety of possibilities.
Okay.
Roll, Steve.
In front of me. In my reports or the
Your reports.
Axiom report?
Yeah, no, any reports that you have in front of you or any that you reviewed, where is that?
What do you, that I wrote
Is
that?
it in writing anywhere, sir?
Yes, I wrote in my report that we believe we were within 3 feet of the latitude and longitude points that were mapped in Sartopo when we
Which
went to
report
see.
is that?
That is the second report that I did, sir.
The May of 2023 report?
May 9th, 2023.
All right. Now, let me just have a moment.
Yep. It's page. That would be page 4 or 5. It should be in the top there. Paragraph 9. Can read it if you'd like.
Hang on.
Bev would not like you to read it, sir. She would not like that.
Well, if he's read probably,
Would you
but
agree
not
with me
if.
in paragraph 9, it mentions that the accuracy is within 3 feet?
From the program?
No, I'm asking you about a report that you authored.
You wrote,
That
yeah.
you just mentioned to this jury.
It's in paragraph 12, I'm
Within
sorry.
3 feet.
It says, Trooper Proctor and I began to measure.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry. I wrote, Trooper Proctor and I began measuring the approximate
I'm not
location.
asking you to read it.
Oh, okay.
You're mentioning paragraph 12, and
Yes, sir.
you're talking about one particular spot in that, correct?
Yes, that is the spot that we
All right.
pointed on our
Now, with
location.
regard to John O'Keefe's phone, would you agree with me that it's important to properly handle and secure a cell phone that is seized in connection with a homicide investigation?
Yes.
Was it important in this investigation to properly handle and secure John O'Keefe's cell phone since he was the homicide victim?
I mean, it was. We locked it in a secure evidence lab.
All right. Well, you testified that the first time you reported on in your investigation or your evaluation of the location data, that was in your April 24th, 2023 report, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in that report, you revealed that you looked at his location data using Axiom software, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Axiom is a competitor of Celebrite?
Did you say that? Yeah.
And Axiom is relied on by law enforcement across the country?
I believe so.
And you relied on it here in terms of this issue of the location data, did you not?
The Axiom on the body
Used
cams.
multiple programs, but yes, I used Axiom as well.
And regarding the location data that you examined with regard to John O'Keefe's phone, you noticed, or you noted, I should say, that after a period of no speed having been registered for a period of time, John O'Keefe's cell phone started registering movement at 6:04 or 6:15 a.m.?
6:15 a.m.
6:15 a.m., and that's actually 6:15 and 36 seconds, correct?
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that's correct.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
And at that point, his phone registered a speed of 0.0484 meters per second?
Just want to confirm.
Sure.
Is that a lot?
Is that the
Probably
second
not a-
report or the first report? I'm sorry.
Not a mile per hour.
There it is, yep. 0.0484.
0.0484 meters per second?
Yes.
And that's at 6:15 and 36 seconds?
Yes, it is.
All right, so now, as you were examining that data, sir,
Yeah,
you certainly
either
knew
that
from
or
this
being drug out,
investigation by that
carried
point,
out.
that when the phone was moving, according to that data, at 6:15 and 36 seconds on January 29th of 2022, John O'Keefe had already been found mortally wounded and incapacitated, correct?
From the voicemail message, that's how I was able to. I don't know the exact time frames that he was found and transported, but I know 6:08 from Ms. Reed's voicemail that the 911 call is made, and they're on scene.
I think we're talking over each other
Yeah.
here, because what I'm asking is, you knew that by 6:15 and 30 seconds in the morning on January 29th, John O'Keefe had already been incapacitated and mortally wounded. That was my question.
Oh, yes, sorry. I misunderstood.
So that's when allegedly Proctor had possession of it.
Meant it could not have been John O'Keefe moving with his phone at 6:15 and 36 seconds, correct?
That is correct.
It had to be somebody else, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Would you agree with me that once investigators took possession of John O'Keefe's phone, any movement of his phone after that would not help in your homicide investigation, would it?
I don't understand.
So in other words, John O'Keefe's been incapacitated.
Yes.
Somebody from law enforcement seizes his phone. Would it help your investigation or the investigation of the Norfolk Detectives Unit to track and record location data on that phone after 6:15 a.m.?
Well, it's there. I did look at it. It goes to Canton PD, and then later comes to the office.
I asked. I didn't ask if it's there. I know it's there.
It's not relevant.
I'm asking
It's not
you,
relevant to the
does
case,
that help
man.
you in your investigation
No.
of a potential of a homicide to track the phone and have that location data recorded on the phone after John O'Keefe could not have been the one moving with it?
No, not necessarily.
In fact, if the phone is manipulated in some way after investigators take possession of it, that could potentially harm an investigation, couldn't it?
Objection.
Sustain.
Well, to preserve the integrity of the data on the phone as it existed before the police took custody of the phone, there is a way to stop the phone from recording location data, again, after the police take custody of the phone, isn't there?
Yes, if you can, place it into airplane mode.
Yes, yeah, you mentioned on direct examination that it could be accomplished by putting the phone into airplane mode, correct?
That is correct, sir.
I did not know that.
When that phone was seized, no investigator put the plane into airplane mode that early morning because you know that location data was found on that phone, correct?
I don't know when it was placed in airplane mode,
But you know it wasn't by 6:15 a.m., correct?
that is correct.
All right. And there's also
So somebody put it in airplane mode.
from entering or exiting the phone, you'd agree with that?
Yes, there is.
During your direct examination, you mentioned the concept of a Faraday bag.
That is correct, sir.
A Faraday bag has special fabric that blocks electromagnetic signals entirely, does it not?
Yes, sir.
So putting the phone into a Faraday bag would be another way to stop the phone from recording location data while the phone's in police custody, correct?
Yes, sir.
See? Faraday bags.
Oh, is that what they use at concerts and stuff? Well, I never knew it was called a Faraday bag.
And you'd agree with me that during that early morning hours, as of 6:15 a.m. and thereafter, no investigator in this case put that phone into a Faraday bag on January 29th, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
In fact, after John O'Keefe's cell phone started registering movement at 6:15 and 36 seconds in the morning on January 29th, it continued to record location data the rest of the morning until 11:56 and 1 second a.m. on January 29th, correct?
I don't know the exact end time, but I know it does have GPS data points throughout the day.
You would agree with me that for several hours after the police had the phone, it was not put in a Faraday bag and it was not put into airplane mode, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Now, with regard to the voicemails that you've previously testified to and that the jury has heard and they've been introduced into evidence, You had testified on direct examination that Karen Reed's phone connected to the Wi-Fi at 1 Meadows Ave at approximately 12:36 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
So you can testify based on that by 12:36 in the morning, Karen Reed was not at 34 Fairview, correct?
That's correct.
And that was the first of those voicemails that you testified to, correct? That was the I hate you voicemail?
Yes, that's 12:37, correct.
Okay. And that voicemail and every other voicemail that the jury heard was left after Karen had left 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes, sir.
And except for the one at, after 6 in the morning, the 4-minute one when she went back, we heard that one. But all the other ones were apparently left when she was at 1 Meadows, correct?
I can't speak to where she was, but
But she wasn't at 34 Fairview.
yes, that's correct. She wasn't at 34.
And you would agree with me, based on those voicemails and what you know about them and what we've just discussed, that no one at 34 Fairview, including Jennifer McCabe, could have witnessed Karen Reed outside that residence at 12:45 a.m., correct?
No, I don't believe so.
So you would agree with me, no one could have, including Jennifer McCabe, could have seen her at 12:45 at 34 Fairview?
As I said, she auto-connects to the Wi-Fi at 12:36, so no, she wouldn't have been there.
All right, now,
Interesting, very interesting.
we've talked about
He's doing a good job painting a picture, isn't he?
or the fact that you reviewed the findings of Rick Green by reading the affidavit that he submitted, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you learned in that affidavit that Rick Green was able to track not only when John O'Keefe arrived at 34 Fairview, but also the route that he and Ms. Reed took to get there on January 29th, correct?
I don't recall his report fully, but
You learned that he was able to accomplish that by examining the data from the app Waze that you spoke of, correct?
yes, I did find that myself.
All right, and Waze is spelled W-A-Z-E, correct?
Yes.
All right, and you've previously testified it's a commonly used app for driving directions and navigation?
Yes, sir.
And regarding your analysis of the phone, you learned that there was Apple Health data from John O'Keefe's phone on January 29th of 2022, correct?
That is correct.
And Apple Health data can reveal a number of steps that a person has taken during a given time period, as well as whether that person is going up or downstairs, correct?
Yes.
And on John O'Keefe's phone, you learned that there was Apple Health data that tracked his steps from the time he's seen on surveillance video leaving the Waterfall Bar and Grill and moving forward after that, correct?
I don't know anything about the Waterfall Bar video. I just have the timestamp from the phone showing it at around 12:12 at the waterfall.
All right, and it actually was between 12:11 and 9 seconds, and then the ending period of that first time period was 12:21 and 5 seconds? And then you,
oh, yes, from the health. Thank you. Yes, yeah.
Okay, from the Apple Health. And the data showed that he took a total of 170 steps between that time period, correct?
That's what the phone registered, yes.
All right. And regarding those 170 steps, isn't it true that this data from Apple Health signifies that 170 steps took place at some point during
That's a lot of
that
steps.
It is.
10-minute approximate time period?
Think about it.
No.
It is.
So is it your understanding that those 170 steps all took place at 12:11?
No. Again, like I said, the phone is a high-tech
walk into your car.
Doesn't mean
Well,
that
just
steps were
going
taken.
up
It means
and down
that
the stairs
calculated
is
in a
40
way
steps.
That it believed it was
20 up,
taking steps.
20 down.
You have 20. Usually
So-
it's
Sorry.
Well,
10 or
remember,
11.
Let's
the thing
assume
is,
steps for the purpose of
3
this.
flights of stairs that his phone health data said he tracked.
3?
3.
And
So
then
that
you
could
have
be-
a basement, so first, second,
It could
third.
be going down the basement, up to the basement, down the basement, getting whacked, and then
back up or taken out.
right.
Okay, because 170 steps to me sound. Does that sound? It sounds like a lot.
Sounds a lot, but
I mean, just walking is probably not.
right.
Maybe it sounds like a lot, but it's maybe it's not.
Now from the fire hydrant to the front step of the house, that might be 80 steps.
No, it can't be. Oh, it was pretty big. I would say, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, maybe it's not a lot. Maybe it's
Right?
just me. Here in Vegas, it seems like a lot. Just
Yeah.
because me from my garage to my truck is like 8 steps.
Dude, well, at work we're doing 16,000 steps at work.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
all right,
Okay.
roll the stage.
Discussion here, okay? And they could have been steps, correct?
They-
Not a
they
lot
could
of
have been,
steps.
Yes, but
All right, so let's
No way to prove
let's
it.
assume that for now.
Okay.
Assuming there were 170 steps taken, that could have meant that John O'Keefe took 170 steps beginning at 12:11 within that time period, correct?
It's saying that, again, the time frame that it gave me is 12:11 to 12:21.
Right, yeah. So in other words, he could have started walking at 12:11, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Walk
But he
out
also
of the
could have taken that
waterfall to the
170
car,
steps
20,
closer in
25
time to
steps.
12:21, correct?
Well, at that point, he's in the car.
From the car into the house.
Into the house, 30 steps, depending on where they park.
Yeah, but she parked on the curb.
I know.
So you gotta walk.
So let's say 60.
Between 12:11 and 12:20.
So it's already over 100.
Yeah,
Then
in the house.
Yeah.
Usually once in a house,
You don't know
depending on the
where
party, you
those
walk
are.
around a lot or you sit,
Within that 10 minutes,
where you stand in place.
Yeah.
To a degree, yes.
And it's possible it could have been toward the beginning, toward the end, or maybe fairly evenly spaced, right? You just know that there were 170 steps that were taken in that 10-minute time frame, correct?
Again, that's assuming that they are steps.
Right. And again, I'm asking you from the data itself.
Again, the phone says it's steps, doesn't mean they are.
Steps.
The Apple Health data also showed a total of 80 steps between 12:21 and 12:24.
Correct.
As part of your investigation of this case, were you aware that there was a 12:23 text message from Ryan Nagel to Julie Nagel in which Ryan texted his sister Julie he had arrived at 34 Fairview?
Objection.
Sustained, you can ask it differently.
In any case, you would agree with me that 12:23 is between 12:21 and 12:24, correct?
That is correct.
And that is the 12:21 to 12:24 time frame
magic trick.
where the Apple Health data showed that the user of John O'Keefe's phone took 80 steps, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, John O'Keefe's
And he
Apple
took
Health
80
data
steps.
also showed that he climbed up or down 3 flights of stairs between 12:21 and 12:24, correct?
Yes.
And that's the same period in which the data reflects 80 steps, correct?
It's off by about 12 seconds. 12:22, 22. Sorry, 12:24 and 22 seconds was the ending for the stamps, but 12:24 and 37 seconds.
Okay, but
Yeah.
approximately.
Approximately, yes.
All right. And regarding going up and down those 3 floors, Apple does not provide data precise enough to determine when within that range the 3 floors were transversed, correct?
There was a second point at 12:22 and 14 seconds that had specifically on stairs.
Okay. And you would agree with me that, and again, assuming that they were stairs as Apple Health data reflects, those stairs could have been ascended or descended toward the beginning, toward the end, or throughout that 3-minute time period, correct?
In this case, no, because there's a set point that's in the Cellbrite report that shows it's 12:22 and 14 seconds.
All right. Finally, his Apple Health data also showed a total of 36 steps between 12:31:56 and 12:32:16, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. So I would like to direct your attention to your May 9th, 2023 report, which was the second report that you wrote that we've already referenced.
Yes, sir.
Specifically,
Dude, this is so weird. Pause this for a second.
You wrote,
Listening to his movement and the times when it happened, right? And knowing that he's going to be unalived shortly after that's eerie, dude.
It's spooky. Yeah.
The countdown of to somebody's life ending.
Well, and I'm wondering, when he was saying he had 30 steps or whatever, how many steps he had at 12:32, the fight that we think probably took place in the basement, the fight, is it counting those steps? Do those get counted as steps?
Well,
I don't know. How would they? Maybe somebody knows.
Was his phone on his person at that time?
Well, it seems like it was, because it was monitoring him going up and down the steps, right? So, but does the Apple Watch know you're in a fight? I guess that's what I'm asking. Does the Apple Watch or your Apple phone know if you're in a fight, and how does it record that?
Well, the new phones will detect, new phones and watches will detect if you're in an accident, but those are the new ones. Right.
Now, does would Cellbrite show his heart rate go up? Did they even look at that stuff?
If they probably looked at the health data, maybe if he had that option turned on. So,
yeah. Because see, I mean, like my watch, I use it for time and text. That's really it.
Well, I watch these videos and my heart rate goes up. So
yeah, I don't do anything else.
All right,
but
Steve.
I'm wondering if it will do that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if those steps
Well, also,
were part of the fight.
I have a schematic that comes up, like in-house schematic. Pause it when it comes up, okay?
that O'Keefe's health data in Cellbrite shows him ascending, descending 3 flights of stairs at 12:22 and 14 seconds. Did I read that accurately?
Right there. Perfect. Okay. So there's 3 flights.
Right.
Right? So the front door is going to be right here.
Right.
This is the front door.
Okay.
Okay. So you can see it's like 10 feet, right? These rooms are like 10 feet square.
Yeah, average room is like
Right.
10 by 10, 10 by
Right.
14.
So
Right,
if
living
he
room,
goes,
dining
if
room.
they're hanging in the kitchen, where normally you do when you are having a party,
Most people are
right?
hanging around the kitchen area.
And these guys like to stand around.
Yep.
So they're going to be standing right there. So his initial walk is maybe 20 feet into the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
If he goes into the kitchen. Now, if he goes downstairs, upstairs, and back downstairs to the basement, that's
another 30, 40 steps.
well, at least, right? Because most floors have, plateau, and then you go back down.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So that's let's say it's another 30, 60 feet, right? So that's 50 feet just inside the house.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Now,
can add up quickly.
But listen, how tall is he?
I think he was 6'2".
His stride's gonna be pretty long, right?
Yeah,
so you can cover a
tall
lot of distance.
Yep.
In 5 feet or 5 steps is
yeah.
15
Well,
feet.
every step is an average of 3 for him, probably 3.5 feet,
Yeah.
closer to 4 feet.
Yeah.
Since he's
So he
taller.
could travel a lot in those 100 steps.
Yeah. Yeah. He could.
170 steps, right?
He could. Yeah. You're right.
Because that would probably take me 300 steps to cover his territory. Shut up. Roll it, Steve.
Yes, sir.
And the native locations in Celebrite and the cached locations in Axiom both show O'Keefe's phone location by the intersection of Oakdale Road and Pinecone Road, which is in front of 36 Oakdale, and which is approximately a little over a half mile from 34 Fairview. Did I read that essentially correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you stand by the statement
away.
that he ascended and descended 3 flights of stairs precisely at 12:22 and 14 seconds?
I'm going by what Celebrite has given me from that time point, and that's what I used.
Isn't it true that what the Apple Health data actually state is that John O'Keefe's phone went up and down 3 flights of stairs sometime within the time period that began at 12:22:14 and ended at 12:24:37?
I can't speak to it. I don't know. This is what, again, I'm looking at the report. This is what the information that is parsed out of the phone is giving me.
Right. I'm just asking about the data itself. It gives you that time period and it tells you 3 flights of stairs, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. So, assuming that those 3 flights of
says 3, it's
stairs
probably 3.
were ascended or descended closer in time to 12:22:14, which was within that time period, that would still give him time to arrive at 34 Fairview within a couple minutes later, would it not?
I'm sorry, the time.
Yeah, so we have a time period that you've agreed with, which is 12:24:14, ending at 12:24:37, right? A little over a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes and 23 seconds?
Yeah, about that.
All right. So the 3 flights of stairs, again, just according to the data, could have been ascended or descended at the start of that time period, correct?
No. I'm confused what you're trying to say. So you're saying that he's at the house already at
I'm not asking
12:22?
about the house. I'm asking about the data.
No, I know, but I'm asking about when you're saying he arrives in that data range.
No, I'm
confused.
It's happened again. Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish.
strictly asking you just to look at the data.
Yeah.
And you agree with me when
That's wrong. Total gibberish.
Was there. You can't pinpoint just from the data when they occurred within that time period, correct?
Objection. Your Honor, maybe helpful if counsel could refer to which data he's talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of confusing, man.
All I'm hearing is data.
I thought that was
Do you know
clear.
which data Ms. Giannetti's referring to specifically?
I'm slightly confused. I know you said that time frame that I wrote in my report for that 12:21 to 12:24.
12:24,
And then, as I
yeah.
stated before, Celebrate
It was
shows
2
you
minutes, so he
specific
took
time
30
points
steps.
of 12:22 and 14 seconds when the stairs are ascended, descended. So that's why I'm confused.
Right, but, we're going to get to that, but
Okay.
I'm not asking you about that. I'm asking you about the fact that there's a time period and you can't place where within that time period, just based on that data itself.
Yeah, that's what's recorded and shown to me. So again, that's what it's shown. I can't say otherwise.
Your conclusion was that John O'Keefe could not have been at 34 Fairview Road at 12:22 and 14 seconds because Waze put him on Oakdale Road about a half mile away, correct?
12. Yes, correct.
That's a half mile away.
All right. And that caused you to disregard the Apple Health data or to attribute it not to steps or to stairs because he was a half mile away between that 12:22 and 12:24 time period, correct?
Yes, I attribute it to movements.
Circle theory.
So I
right?
want you to assume for a moment, Trooper, that John O'Keefe's phone location actually showed him on Oakdale Road 3 minutes earlier at 12:19 a.m. Okay? If you have that in mind?
You okay?
All right. With that assumption, would you agree with me that the Apple Health data about him taking 80 steps and climbing up or down 3 floors at 34 Fairview Road would make more sense?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
That apps on an iPhone may pull data from 3 different clocks when they're timestamping location data?
You mean like Mac absolute time or Apple
I'm
Cocoa
asking
time?
you. Are you aware?
Multiple timestamps that are in an iPhone, correct?
That's not my question. My question was, are you aware that an app on an iPhone may pull data by choosing from 3 different clocks when it timestamps location data?
Yes.
What are those 3 separate clocks?
Depends on the program. It could be the Mac absolute time. It could be the Unix epoch time. And sorry, there's like 2 others. I don't remember them all off the top of my head.
With regard to John O'Keefe's actual iPhone, did you research what clocks were available for apps to pull data from?
No, I didn't.
Are you aware that those 3 clocks can vary in time?
Yes.
Sometimes for a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So
In other words, the 3 clocks could be seconds apart, correct?
Yeah, they're not precise.
Well, the thing is too, I would have done a check on if there's any dead spots
Off by 3 minutes, correct?
in that
No,
area.
again, I would have to see the data.
May I approach?
34 Fairview.
Mr. Lally, did you
Go
get a
out.
chance to look at that?
Because if there's a dead spot between Oakview and this house, the 34 Fairview, and he travels there,
On what I've placed before
it's
you?
gonna be off.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And with regard to the right side of that exhibit, you also see process 3434 with more information on the right side.
Yes.
And do you see the 3 different clocks that are listed on that printout?
I do.
What are those 3 different clocks?
Sorry, it's a bit blurry. Monotonic date time, baseband date time, and then display date time.
And looking at that, and by the way, do you recognize that as being information that was available from John O'Keefe's phone from the extraction?
Yes.
I would offer that as an exhibit, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Lally?
No, Your Honor.
There's a surprise.
Now you have exhibit 640 in front of you, sir. Looking at 640, is it clear to you that those 3 clocks were not in sync regarding that one process number?
Yes.
In fact, the monotonic clock regarding this particular Waze artifact from John O'Keefe's phone says 2:22 a.m., while the baseband and display clocks have timestamps 3 minutes earlier, correct?
Yes.
So if there's a 3-minute difference between the clocks, well, strike that. Do you know, with regard to that 2:22 a.m. location data on Waze, do you know which clock Waze was using for that? Or the iPhone was using with Waze?
I don't. Didn't look through Axiom. I was using Cellbrite for that.
Okay. But certainly that would have been available to you had you looked at it, correct?
Well, the artifact you show me is from the power log. It has nothing to do with the GPS, so it's not correct.
You could have looked at that exhibit, right?
Yes,
The information in that exhibit to see the 3 different clocks, sir?
Yes, but I can explain why this is incorrect.
All right, maybe Mr. Lally will ask you.
Sounds
all
good.
But you agree with me, if there's a 3-minute difference between the clocks, and you don't know which clock was used.
Yeah, good question.
Phone on Oakdale Road at 2:22 a.m. That could explain. Let me just.
3 minutes is a long time.
It is.
That's a long time.
Mr. Jackson, thank you.
A real long time.
Remember, the roads were clear at that time. It just started to
3-minute
snow.
discrepancy between the clocks.
Yeah.
And you've said you don't know which clock Waze was using to put John O'Keefe's phone on Oakdale Road at 12:22 a.m. That could explain the discrepancy between the Apple Health data and the Waze data, could it not?
No.
But as you sit here today, you don't know whether Waze was relying on the baseband, display, or monotonic clock, correct?
Again, can't be used for that.
Now, you're aware that Jennifer McCabe signed a consent form on February 2nd of 2022 for her cell phone to be imaged?
Yes.
And a full forensic extraction was performed on that phone sometime shortly after February 2nd of 2022?
I don't remember the exact date. I didn't download her phone.
But in any case, you generated a Celebrite full file system extraction report on May 31st of 2022, correct?
Yes.
And you were aware that that Celebrite report was the one that was turned over to the defense in this case, correct?
That is correct.
But you'd agree with me that that extraction report didn't
Hey, pause
contain
it, Steve.
anything close to the...
The guy that did the cell phone extraction for the Sarah Birchmore one, is he the same one that did help these guys?
I believe he is.
So when he said who downloaded it, and he goes, I don't know who did, it might have been the other guy.
It could have been, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming there's not too many guys that can extract the
Well, and
information.
that's a good point too, because if you're the data guy, okay, Chain of custody is very important.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If there's 4 phones, this guy's going to download all 4 phones and handle it from the beginning to the end.
He should, yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if there's going to be 20 phones, okay, let's break it up, right?
Yep.
But each one of those guys are talking side by side, saying, "Hey, this is where I'm at."
Yep, they
right?
should
To maintain the chain of custody. But it's interesting; he doesn't know who downloaded the other part of the phone. The guy that missed the, how many text messages? 30,000 texts.
30,000 texts.
Yeah.
It happens.
Of course, it does.
30,000 is not that much. You
No.
you blink and you miss that.
Yeah, shoot.
You know what I mean?
Roll it.
The full file system, despite the name on it, correct?
It did.
Well, that report was filtered to return only Jen McCabe's communications with Karen Reed, Kerry Roberts, John O'Keefe, and Kaylee Furbish, correct?
That is not correct.
Did Michael Proctor instruct you to pull only those communications?
Objection.
You didn't seek
He knew
to
he
obtain
wasn't gonna
any
answer that.
of Jennifer McCabe's
He knew it.
communications with her sister, Nicole Albert, did you?
I didn't go through, like I said, didn't go through Jen McCabe's info.
And you didn't seek to obtain any of her communications with her daughter, Allie Albert, did you? I'm sorry, Allie McCabe.
Objection. May we approach?
You would agree with me that the full forensic image of Jennifer McCabe's phone was not shared with the defense until it was requested by us in October of 2022, sir?
That is not true.
When you wrote your report on April 24th of 2023, in response to an affidavit provided by Rick Green, the defense forensic computer expert, it was in that report that you finally disclosed for the first time the existence of 3 Google searches by Jennifer McCabe, correct?
Objection.
All right, so ask that differently.
Prior to April 24th of 2023, you had not reported in any formal manner with anything that was shared with the defense about the existence of 3 Google searches by Jennifer McCabe, correct?
I never looked at Jennifer McCabe's phone.
And so was there anybody else from your unit or anybody else that you worked on that provided that material to us?
Not that I know of.
All right. Page 2, if I may just a moment. You take a moment to familiarize yourself with that. Do you understand, or can you tell the jury what that is?
Yep. This is you could put in a PDF.
Bev.
This isn't one I gave to you. This is a PDF version of the UFED reader report that I gave.
Happy.
So I gave the portable Cellbrite version to you. This is a copy of it, and I will not testify that anything in this is correct, because this could have been filtered.
But your name is on there, is it not?
Do you remember when he said that report cannot be altered, right? And he sends that report and somebody changes it and puts it in a different format. And that's why he's saying, I didn't do this, therefore I cannot testify to anything on this report because it could have been tampered with. Right.
Oh, why wouldn't they make it to where the format has to stay the same in government buildings, right? The format has to stay the same. You can't change it, but everybody can view it.
Right.
Right. Why would you change the format to where you can change it?
Yeah.
That sounds like dirty. Yeah.
It does, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know what.
That's why he just said, I
but-
refuse to testify anything on here.
Right. So somebody could have changed it.
Well, did you see
Guess
that
we'll
little
see.
text message I put on there? So there you go.
Yes, it is.
All right, and what's the date?
May 31st, 2022.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. You'd agree with me with regard to that April 24th of 2023 report. On page 2, you state, quote, in my initial Celebrate UFED reader report, and then you put version 7.53.0.29, that was created on May 4th of 2022, the search history for Jennifer McCabe's phone had 2 Google searches in Safari, correct?
Yes.
And you list out
Did you see him look over?
TI die in CIKD at 6:23:51, and Hoslong to die in cold at 6:24:37, correct?
That is correct.
House long.
And by the way, with regard to the timing of those 2 particular searches, you are aware, are you not, that Jennifer McCabe placed a call to Bryon Albert at 6:23 and 0 seconds?
I don't have it in front of me. I don't.
Sir, I placed before you a document. Could you familiarize yourself?
Well, here it is.
Tell the jury if you recognize what it depicts.
Have a call log that says 2.
Refresh your memory.
With no name.
Trooper.
At 6:23. That's incomplete because there should be 3 other records accounting for this call.
Okay, but
How do you know?
Exactly. If you see it,
Yeah. How do you know?
how do you know?
Jennifer McCabe's phone at 6:23 and 0 seconds.
I don't know. There's no number on here, so I can't tell. It just says it's a call log with one call that's not answered at 6:23 in the morning with doesn't say who it's from or who it's going to.
Okay.
It also is incomplete because there should be 2 other records with this. This is from the call history stored data wall, marked as deleted.
It's marked as deleted. Does it give a duration?
It just says duration 0 seconds.
Okay. And does it reflect that it was unanswered?
It does.
Okay. May I have that mark for identification, please?
Okay.
Did you investigate whether a call was placed from Jennifer McCabe to Bryon Albert at 6:23 in the morning in 0 seconds?
I didn't look at any specific calls that morning. I created a Cellbrite report.
Do you hear what he said? I created, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too many chefs in the kitchen, son.
Well, it's I don't know, it is what it is. He's testifying.
You like that?
I do like that. I do like that. Pause it, Steve.
Roll it.
That's about it.
Did you ask either Ian Whiffen or Jessica Hyde to look into that
I
issue?
forget what video that was from.
Sustained.
You would agree with me
Sarah
that that
from
call and the record of that deletion of that call is nowhere in your April 24th report, correct?
I believe it's in my May 9th report.
All right. But I asked you about your April 24th report, sir?
I didn't address anything regarding phone calls in my April 24th report.
All right. Now, going back to when you began your examination around May 4th of 2022, you were looking for information on, did you look on Jennifer McCabe's phone back in May 4th of 2022?
Did I physically open the phone or did it?
Did you review the data at all?
I'm confused, on the cell phone itself or from the report?
Either way.
No, her phone was returned to her, and then
A year and a half later.
we had the extraction. I did not utilize the extraction at all.
You never included the 2 searches that we discussed, the, how long TI die in CIKD and how long to die in cold, in the full file system extraction that was turned over to the defense, did you?
They were included.
Well, page 6 of your April 24th, 2023 report goes on to state that when you switch to a new version of Celebrite, and this
Sorry,
one dropped out.
Yeah, it was the phone call, the power log.
Page 6 of your April 24th, 2023 report says that when you switch to a new version of Celebrite Physical Analyzer, which was version 7.61.0.12, you found an artifact from the browser state DB wall file for a global search of Hoslong to die in cold at 2:27 and 40 seconds, correct?
Yes.
Trooper, I'm placing before you what has been marked as Exhibit 99. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what is that?
It's the searches that were done at 6:23 regarding the misspelled how long to die in the cold.
Okay, and it's actually Hoslong to die in cold,
Yes.
right? April?
Yep. That was.
That will live
Get it
in
right.
infamy.
Get it right.
It's house long. Well, we all know that.
All right. And your April 24th, 2023 report goes on to mention 2 deleted calls to Jen McCabe's sister, Nicole, who was saved as Coco in her phone, correct?
I'd have to see it, but I believe so.
May I approach? Showing you what's been marked Y for identification. If you'd familiarize yourself with that and look up at me when you're done.
Okay.
Does that show the 2 deleted calls to Jen McCabe's sister, Nicole, who was saved as Coco in her phone?
I don't know who it's coming from, but it does say it's going to Coco, and then, again, coming from wall files, correct.
All right. And your report doesn't mention it, but what was the duration of those 2 calls according to that log?
On this sheet here, it says 9 seconds for the first one and then 7 seconds for the other.
All right. And those calls, both of them, which actually had durations, were marked answered by Celebrite, correct?
Yes.
May I offer that, Your Honor?
Does it say answered if it's a voicemail? Or does it say voicemail? So I'm assuming it'll say
With
voicemail.
regard to what is displayed on the screen now, is that consistent with what I had just handed to you?
Yes, it is.
All right. And with regard to
9 seconds,
the
7 seconds.
first entry there, you had stated that it doesn't say you said it doesn't say who was making the call. Was that your testimony?
Yes, it just says right here,
Yep.
2. I'm guessing that's the last 4 of the number, because the rest is blurred, and then, yeah, that's it.
Okay. And you know that 0204 last 4 digits, that is to somebody who was listed as Coco in the phone, correct?
I don't know any of these phone numbers or people.
But you previously testified these 2 calls were to somebody who was named Coco. in the phone?
Oh, yeah, from the sheet
I
you
get
gave me that
that.
shows it.
And
People
the
see
time
his
of the
names
first
now.
call was 6:07:42, is that right?
That's correct.
And you testified that that's the one that had the duration of 9 seconds,
Yes.
listed as answered
Correct.
and deleted, correct?
Yes and no, and I can explain if you'd like.
It's listed as deleted, is it not?
There's a reason why.
Is it listed as deleted?
It is, but there's a reason why.
With regard to the second call, that appears to be to the same number, or at least the same last 4 digits.
Yes.
And in the sheet in front of you, that's also to Coco, correct?
Yes.
And that has a timestamp.
1 minute later.
A minute later.
That is correct.
That also has a duration, and that's of 7 seconds.
Yes.
Also listed as answered,
Yes.
and also marked deleted, correct?
Yes, and there's a reason.
And
Don't need the reason,
are
sir.
you aware that
Don't need the reason.
made other calls?
Listen,
that
pause
morning,
this
which
1
were in
second.
fact-
So these calls go to voicemail. All right, let's say go to voicemail.
Right.
Right.
Would it say that though? Would it say voicemail, or would it? Because it says answered, it means you hit the button, right? Or you answer, or you slide it, or whatever.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But let's say it goes to voicemail. Okay, let's recall it, right? Goes to voicemail, hang up, don't call again. But why delete it?
That is the
Right?
That
Why?
is a good question.
Why delete it if there's no conversation more than because we know we can say in 22 seconds, right? We know we can say in 22 seconds,
22
right?
seconds.
But
you can say a lot in 9
these
seconds.
only lasted an average of 8 seconds,
Yeah.
right? That's ring, 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 ring. Hey, you reached Luciano Gonzalez. Hang up. Right? Recall.
Well,
because she's probably thinking she's asleep. I'm gonna call again. Wake her up.
But is a voicemail 9 seconds?
No, I'm talking from when you hit dial.
I don't think it records when it rings. It doesn't start recording till it's actually answered. That's the way I'm looking at it. If I'm reading it right, it was answered and the duration of the call was 9 seconds, meaning it was like, what's up? Once you slide it open, now it starts. So now you have 9 seconds.
It went to voicemail.
Or it went to voicemail. Yeah. But I don't know would it say answered if it was in voicemail?
Oh.
I thought I remembered him with Jackson and I think Higgins and or Brian Albert. Remember Jackson saying that on their Cellbrite, he could see that it went to voicemail. So, but I'm not 100% sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah. And why would you delete them?
Yeah. Why?
You're feeling guilty about something you're doing. I don't think I've ever deleted any phone calls from my phone. Have you?
Well, I blocked.
Yeah, I blocked the spam stuff, but I don't think I've deleted them. When you block them, you delete them.
You have to start deleting once you have so many calls on your call log just to clear up, get rid of shit, but not.
I think it goes forever, doesn't it, Steve?
Not on your phone. On your
but
phone. But when let's say I call you 10,000 times.
But it just shows as Brian or B. It doesn't
what
say.
I'm saying,
it'll have in parentheses how many times next to me.
But what I'm
called.
saying, you have 1,000 people calling you. You want to start deleting some of those.
I don't even know 1,000 people.
Oh, forget it.
I don't even know 100 people.
Roll it.
You mean the 3 people that called me?
By Celebrate.
Again, I'd have to see what you're referring to.
So as you testified to here today, you
and Steve are 2 of them.
I just felt like I was that attorney right now, and you're like, I don't understand.
There are a number of calls that morning. I have not memorized all of them.
Well, you should have, sir. Prepare yourself for court.
Show something that's on a computer screen.
Thank you.
Got it. Big ass computer.
I've placed before you what appears to be a PDF document on a computer screen. If you familiarize yourself with it and look up at me when you're done.
Okay.
What does that appear to be, sir?
An incomplete PDF of the call logs from whoever's call log this is.
Okay. And do you see in that PDF that there were a number of calls that were marked unanswered by Celebrate?
Again, I can't testify to any of this because I can't confirm that where this data came from. There's no source file. This is it's incomplete. So I do see what you're talking about in that column, but I don't know what any of this data is from or who made this.
Is your name on it?
At the very top, it would show my name no matter what because I created the UFED and the extraction. I did not create this PDF.
So the answer to my question is your name is on that document.
See that?
It is,
Pause
but I
it,
didn't
Steve.
create it.
Remember when he said when he created that UFED,
Right.
you can't change it.
But clearly you can.
Somebody took that UFED report and made it a PDF file to where it could be manipulated.
Right. That's
And
not good.
he's looking at it and saying, dude, this is not my file.
Right. So again, why are you able to do that?
Yeah.
And
who's doing it?
Yeah, and who's doing it?
Roll it.
And with
all good
regard to
questions.
the calls that were marked unanswered, would you agree with me that Celebrate had them with durations of 0 seconds?
Objection.
Can you agree with that? Can you answer that question? If you can, please answer it.
With the data given here, I can't because, like I said, I don't know where they got this from, Your Honor.
So who created that document?
I don't know.
See?
So
See?
are you testifying that nobody in law
Somebody
enforcement
did, sir.
created that document, or nobody?
You should know who.
Listen.
For the Commonwealth created that document?
I created the extraction and made a UFED reader report, which is basically a portable Celebrate version that I use at the office. I gave that to defense. I don't know who created this PDF version of data with specific things. I did not.
Was it Michael Proctor?
No.
Boom!
Did he say yes?
As I said, I was the only one that created any Celebrate-related reports in this case.
Well,
Are you sure about that, sir? Are you sure about that?
Client's cell phone, sir.
Okay.
On Tuesday, when Mr. Lally was questioning you, he had you point out and read some text messages that were on her phone between John O'Keefe and her, correct?
Those messages were taken from John O'Keefe's phone.
Okay. Would you agree with me when he was pointing out those text messages to you, he skipped about 40 pages of messages at one point?
I don't know. I believe their text messages went back all the way to 2020 or something ridiculous
Right.
in his phone.
He started reading them and he skipped ahead about 40 pages, did he not?
I have no idea.
Michael Proctor seized my client's phone on January 29th of 2022, did he not?
He did.
And you would agree with me that certainly as of 6 days later, your February 4th report, you had not yet been able to access the content of the phone, correct?
That's not true.
At some point, you were able to access the content of the phone, correct?
Yes, on January 31st.
Of 2022?
Yes.
All right. You later became aware that Michael Proctor was searching through my client's phone in August of 22, correct?
The actual device itself? Or the extraction report?
Either one, sir.
I have, I'm sorry, Miss Reed's phone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
Say John O'Keefe's phone?
Yes, that's why I was
I
confused. Sorry.
apologize. I'm not trying to confuse
Yeah.
you. With regard to my client's phone, which is where we started,
Yeah.
you're aware that Michael Proctor was searching through her phone in August of 2022.
Of the extraction report created, correct.
Were you made aware that on January 1st of 2023, the defense requested a full forensic image of Karen Reed's phone, which was in your possession?
I don't know the date, but a request was made for the phone extraction, yes.
And have you seen a forensic image or Celebrate a report of the forensic image from Karen Reed's phone?
The redacted version that I received back from the AG's office, yes.
Okay. And would you please tell the jurors how many phone calls were deleted from Karen Reed's phone from January 29th of 2022?
None.
And if you please tell the jurors, other than to John O'Keefe, to whom did Ms. Reed place phone calls between 12 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. on January 29th?
Her parents twice. There 2 or 3 times there's calls to her parents, and that's it.
And how many Google searches did she do from 12 a.m. until 5 a.m.?
I don't believe there were any.
Okay. And how many Google searches were deleted by Ms. Reed at any point on January 29th of 2022?
I can't speak to that because we got a redacted version of the report, so I don't know what was taken out by the AG's office. I don't know what files they went in to remove, so I only have what I was given.
But leaving that aside, sir, with regard to all of the data that was provided to you, how many Google searches did you see or find that Karen Reed deleted from January 29th of 2022?
A few.
During what time period?
The afternoon. But again, there was artifacts that I found that weren't date and timestamps, and there were some that were with corresponding timestamps, but I can't say for sure when that was done.
Okay. But you saw no deleted calls, correct?
No, not that I know of.
All right. I made a moment.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, what does that tell you?
Jen only made 3 phone calls. John O'Keefe, mom and dad.
Karen, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Karen, yes. Jen, how many calls did she make? She called everybody.
Yep. And deleted stuff.
right?
Makes you look guilty.
If you're guilty,
you start to
Karen, it'd be roles would be reversed, right? Karen would be like,
yeah. Karen would be the one, how long to die.
Trying to cover up some stuff.
100%, yeah, 100%, man. I agree 100%. So yeah, that's very interesting.
Doesn't feel right.
Very interesting.
Who manipulated those reports? Right? Fed files cannot be manipulated. That's what I sent you guys. You guys give me this. I have no idea who did it.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's why he asked. Who made this report? He goes, I don't know.
The cameras in the department, right? They should have cameras somewhere. Yeah. Who did it? Who's sitting at the computer? Who's logged in? Who's signed in? You should be able to track who's looking at what.
Yeah.
Especially in something this big.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you need to make sure that you want to take all the precautions that people can't tamper with evidence and stuff, right? I mean, that's the way I would look at it.
Do you think this guy is in cahoots with him? Guarino?
He doesn't seem like... No.
No, he doesn't seem like he'd be in the same party.
I think he might have, he might have his foot or toes dipped in the pool. You know what I mean?
Especially if let's say Proctor saying, hey, I want this information, this information, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mind your business. Don't look into this or this.
Right.
Do what I say.
Yep.
But he's also a 20-year cop, though.
Yeah.
He's no spring chicken.
Right.
Right? He's been around the block.
Right. He knows all the players.
So could he know?
I think you're kind of right. I think he might have his little toes in it.
I think he's in, just not as deep as everybody else. I think it's just like the toes or the feet are getting dipped in the pool, and they're keeping him out a little bit.
I don't know. Dude.
That's what it kind of looks like to me. Yeah. I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah.
He could be the ringleader.
He could be.
No, we know he's not. He's not. That's definitely more of an Albert thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, everyone. That was
Guarino.
Guarino. Hope you enjoyed it. Badoosh that like button.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe.
Sharon
We're watching.
Sharon
We're
is
watching.
Karen.
We see everything, don't we?
Sharon is Karen. If it's within 20 feet, maybe.
We're blind now. We're old. We're getting what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
And for those who are still serving, have a safe tour duty, please.
Make a difference in someone's life. Stay classy, Las Vegas.
Always.
1 Sam 5 and 1 Sam 6, copy of 425 call.
Copy. 1 Sam 5 en route.
1 Sam 6, copy, en route.